time to with us today, and I really want to learn more about who you are, and I think it's important because you have a lot of different things going on, and part of my goal is to be able to bridge that in African diaspora so people understand the similarities, what we have in common, because so often we'll hear, oh, this is different, our cultures are different, and they are different. However, there are a lot of similarities. So walk me down a little bit about who you are, and then we'll talk about your career and your businesses, and we'll just kind of from there.
Well, the pleasure is mine to be here, and thank you for the other time being on my channel as well. We had a good time.
Yes.
I actually cut the video and sent to a lot of people.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
There was a lot to say, a whole lot of there.
So my name is Kwabena Obindako. Was born in Ghana, bred in Ghana. I'm of Asante. If you have to define me, of the tribe. I schooled in Ghana, first degree engineering, and then at the second degree in Ireland, process engineering as well. I'm an entrepreneur. I've built businesses with my wife, Marie. We have 3 children. I write books as well. I have 3 books, and I have YouTube channel. Our businesses and retail, into real estate development and construction as well. So
yeah, you sound like you might be related. we might be related somehow. Now, so your name, that's Tuesday born?
Yes, Tuesday born, Kwabena,
All
yes.
Right. All right, and I'm Kojo.
Yes.
Kojo Twin
Barama.
That's right. I'm getting it because there's a lot of people corrected me when I first started my journey. I didn't understand that it pronounced Twee, and I would say Twee because in English CTWI, so it's Twee. But when I guess Twee, it's a little extra in there, and so. So now I'm learning, and of course, obviously understanding the different days of the week. So that as far as names, as part of the addition for the Ashanti tribe, it is to have I guess the first name is the day you were born on, and then have your a different name. I guess they call it a spirit name or something like that. Am I correct?
Yes, you're right. You're right.
And so yes, that's just as you're familiar here with different cultures, this is what stands out. You learn, and I could tell, like, if somebody's name doesn't sound like one of the week, then I can tell from a different ethnic group, or maybe they're from or maybe they're from somewhere. So that's I mean, there's so many different ethnic groups right there. Ghana, because in America, people think that they hear Africa and they think, oh, Africa. And it's just like, no, you can go within Ghana and find 25 ethnics in a particular area, and speaking, those groups will speak different languages. All right. So now tell me how did you get to become or your interest in engineering?
Whoa. I didn't expect that. Part of the reason I was good with mathematics, in the secondary school. I actually represented my school in some of the science competition. So I was good. The first, the top people, I was from what we call SS1 to the time I completed, yes. So the option was I did physics, chemistry, and mathematics as the elective, as we call them. And so once you do those, then you are likely to take engineering or physics or chemistry or mathematics or any other that requires those electives at the university level. And I didn't want to be a doctor. So obviously, I was good
engineering.
Yes. So I think that was it.
Well, how did you then open or start a construction company? And how do you go from like engineering? I guess that makes sense. guess. But you were doing agricultural engineering, though. That's a little different.
Yes. Yes. Agricultural engineering is made up of almost every bit of engineering. That's how you have to define it. But it's about 80 to 90% mechanical engineering, but it focuses more in the agri sector. So let's say processing plants, waste management, agri machinery, like mainly the engines, the excavators, the bulldozers, or even the combined harvesters, the tractors, they mainly form part of agri engineering. But engineering as a course is very flexible, especially if you look at mechanical engineering, agri engineering, civil engineering. Almost you can transition with that kind of training to building anything. It's not that much restricting. And the postgraduate, the process engineering is more like a systems, engineering, the processes in production.
Understood.
So taking any biological material and transforming it into a usable product, the things in between. But transition or moving to construction, I think it's just the entrepreneurial, once you understand how a business is built, then any business you go into, you can master the process. So I did not really restrict myself to say that let me be in process engineering as a business, but let me take that skill set and build where I think I have some understanding and some leverage.
What are the projects that you worked on from the construction side?
Well, we did it for about 10 years. We did some for individual companies. So we built polyclinics. We have done some electrical works. We have built pastures. Pasture is where you build big feed for animals. So maybe 500 hectare land, you're grazing. So we took contracts like that. Semi-government organizations that we work for. We've built platforms for mining companies as well. We've built market structures, things like that. And then
are you still doing now? Are you still doing that?
Now we're focusing more on our own projects, what we call, we are building our own real estate development company. What it means is that we find our own money and then we build apartments and then we rent them. So that's what we do.
You laugh because, and I think everybody else started laughing because when you said that, my mind started working. I was like, wait a minute now. So you know how to do all of this?
Yes. So mainly that's
ground up in Ghana.
Yes, sir. In Ghana, yeah. And so from the various construction experiences, from the various projects, now we build for ourselves. Before we were building for people. Now we focus on building to own, building some investment, some wealth, so to say. So we built and we adding up, and part of it is coming from other businesses. The funds come from that.
I understand. Well, I get it. I love the strategy. I love everything you're saying. I mean, it's like you're taking the resource and you're putting it into real estate. And anybody who understands real estate knows the Accra, anywhere in Ghana right now, not just Accra. I mean, everywhere I went, from Takoradi to Cape Coast to Tale to Kasi to Tema, you can, and of course Accra, you can see the explosion. I mean, there's an explosion happening in Accra like I've never seen before ever. I watched DC explode, Washington DC. I watched it explode back in the 90s and with real estate development, and seeing the same. I watched Atlanta to explode with real estate development, but even with all that, Accra's doing I've never seen before.
And the difference there is that our market, the funding is not as in other markets. In other markets, let's say in the real estate, in the construction real estate sector, you will have developers, you have investors, and you will have people, the contractors themselves. So let's say somebody thinks of a project, he designs it, and he gets a contractor, but then he finds his own money. So the contractor will just come in and build for you. You own the project. Then maybe you can even sell it to another person who will come and buy it and rent it. And the funding is a bit different because here I don't want to go to the bank to borrow such money from the
Right.
bank because the interest is not good, for such thing.
Yes.
Because it takes me, let's say, a year to build or two. If I go for such interest, then I have no business. So we want to leverage our skills as our skill set, our expertise in the construction, so that we build, at discount if you want.
Understood.
If I'm building, I'll build at a certain advantage. That profit then becomes part of the funding. So if I have $1 million and I'm building, maybe after building it, I will sell it more. But this time around, we source the funds and we build it ourselves. So, it's a bit different.
So you're looking to be able to keep the you're going to do like a build and hold process. Is that correct?
Exactly.
Build and hold.
So, yes. So you source your money, you design it yourself, you put your team there, they build it, and then you own it, you manage it yourself.
And you rent it out.
Yes, sir. That's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I mean, again, that's the pathway. And if you do those wherever you are in Ghana, then you'll definitely amass the wealth because see what's happening, and a lot of people are curious, about what the process, how it goes. But you're leveraging, like you said, you're leveraging your knowledge, expertise, your skill set, and that carries a value in the marketplace because you know how to do it. So you're able to. And then you're also, the Ghana system too, which is very different from the American system. Like you said, in America, you just go get a loan and do your thing. And I think the interest rates might be lower in America too.
Yes, it's lower.
But again, that's a part of what you understand, because I'm having a condo in Kwabenya. Now a lot of people, let's just say Accra, so everybody kind of has an idea. And what I was able to do with the finding is basically self-financed and put down a certain percentage, and then because it's being built, then I'm able to pay a certain amount, but it's paid off by the time the project is complete. So there is no loan attached to it. It wasn't an expensive property at all, but it's I appreciated that because there was no interest attached to it. Now obviously the monthly payment is considerably higher because it's going to be paid off within the time frame. I think it's either a year. It's a year. It's 12 months. So it's paid off, but and then I don't have to deal with any loans or the other stuff that's going on and everything that you talked about. But in America, on the other hand, what we do is we go look for the loans and they even have something here called hard money lenders, and then you have hard money lenders with very high interest rates, and primarily people use hard money if they're doing rehabs or quote unquote flips. If somebody's doing a flip, then they'll do hard money, which kind of makes sense in one sense because you're using other people's money to be able to make money. So in this particular system, it works well if you're to sell the property. Otherwise, you get stuck with that interest. But I get it. So so tell me about your books, because you said you're an author also. So building, selling books. Go ahead.
So Perspective, I wrote it in 2016.
Okay.
It's just about the when you go to school as Africans, just like anywhere, you are not really taught about money and how come out and build a business. You really go to school and you're a good student, and you when you finish, mainly you're conditioned to come and look for a job. So you don't ask the child in school when you complete when you grow what you want to become. They don't want to tell you when I complete I want to become a business owner. That's not really something on the table. You want to be accountant, lawyer, engineer, and mainly what it means is that you have to go and work for another company or for the government. So having gone through that, I put my thoughts in a book that you're conditioned this way. But when you come out, do you even have the jobs for you to say that I'm just out of school, I'm just going to get a job. If you're lucky to get a job, no problem. But how about if you don't get the job? What do you do? You know, so that's the conditioning. And I'm sure you met a lot of young people who are saying that I want to travel. That is part of it, because you're looking at either I get a job which pays me well, or maybe travel to America or England, or sometimes even, you know, join politics, which is career, or start a church. You know, those are the options. But for me,
hold on.
You know, livelihood.
You slip something in there real quick. You slid it in there. Okay,
you know,
before I go there. Okay, keep going. We're back to it. We're going.
Okay, so I'll put my thoughts there that after your engineering school, if you want to start a business, you are technically not equipped, because when you complete engineering, at least you should work in industry for about 5 years to get expertise. Mm-hmm. And if you don't get that industrial exposure, which means that you don't have anything that you can produce and take it to the market as an engineer, myself as an example. Okay, so what kind of business can you start with virtually no skill set, but you have a degree or you have a second degree, something like that? Now, in terms of money, you don't even know how you are going to manage the money, unless you come from a very wealthy family, you know. And in terms of selling, because selling is so crucial in business, mm-hmm. The leadership that you have to provide, the people that you are going to recruit or team up with, do you understand who to pick, who not to pick? Do you even understand the market that we have, the culture, how the people buy? What do they look for? How do you even manage these people? You know, so all these things, you're dealing with them. And then the superstition, I'm building a business, I get to a place, I'm stuck. Who do I blame? Do I have to go and pray to God for him to solve it for me? Or is a structure that I have to study? So how do you learn to build systems?
Not like
all these things we went through in 10 years.
What you're talking about sounds like what a lot of people dealing with here in America.
You see, so you make a lot of mistakes. You go through like that. And then after you have had some level of exposure in terms of what business is really about, then you start to see the success. And that does not come, for me, does not come before 5 years. It does not.
Okay, so
you are going to go through a lot.
Okay.
So and build the mental framework. You know, for you, it's like a boxer. The boxer must think a certain way. If you take a soldier, if you meet a military officer, he thinks differently from the civilian. You know, so the same with an entrepreneur or with entrepreneurship, or somebody who has completed school or who never went to school and says that I want to build a business. There's a certain way you have to think, and those things don't come readily to you just because you have completed school.
So where do you get, how do you develop the mindset that you're talking
about? So then when you start something, that's why anything that you can start with. So we started with trying to build, construction company, trying to sell. So we have Envy is multiple retailer of fashion products in Ghana. We are in the malls. We have multiple, we have a lot of guests.
This is
yes, with my wife, yes.
Right, we'll talk about that in a second. Okay, keep going.
So how do you learn all this and manage all this? The kind of framework of thinking that you need to get to that stage. And we are not looking at my uncle who's a big man to help me. You don't have any. Your parents may not have that. Or they are even telling you to stop everything and go back to school again. Ooh. Or travel. How do you go against all this to say that this is my dream, this is what is in my heart, and I want to stick with it until it works? And that's why I wrote Perspective. And we have done over 4,000 copies or so,
You've sold over 4,000 copies?
Yes.
Wow.
Some of them, we've done multiple printings, actually. Some of them we help people too. We go to schools, we go to prisons and also help some of them. Because it's the problem I see is that everything is the mind. What you know is what you do. The world is how you see it.
Yes.
And so somebody will say, no, it's so difficult. It's the mental process. It's the information you have, the data you have. If the data is not strong, you will be weak. And so we are here trying. And we are not saying it's difficult, but you meet somebody who is even doing far better. and they still be telling you it's difficult because of the processes. So I've read a lot of books, actually. I've read. I was born into a Christian home, so in terms of Christianity, I've been part of it. But building business, you need a whole different mindset. So that's why I wrote Perspective, actually. And we have done a couple of TV programs, radio programs in Ghana. And it's all over, major radio station, Peace FM. We did a whole series about 6 months, and the effect was serious. Then one of our TV stations, which talks about business, I was there the other time. Because it's you doing it and getting the wisdom from the ground, and once you get the wisdom from the ground, then this is how it works. And managing the money. If you went to school, you don't know how to make money. That's a fact. You know how to work for salary. But to build wealth, you have to be informed properly about money. And most of us did not. For instance, in Ghana, my grandfather was a cocoa farmer. He never went to school. Now, about maybe 30 years to the time that he passed, he had a land. He had his own tipper truck. He would pile sand. You go and buy sand and pile them. So when he got to a point that he could not work again, he started to sell that sand to people who wanted to build. And that was his future. That was his guarantee.
His retirement was accumulating sand.
That's right.
So I'm putting this in terms, so like the American audience or the Western audience will understand. So what he did, which was brilliant, he accumulated sand.
Yes.
Then he could no longer work.
Yes.
He then took the sand and sold it.
Yes. So he was selling them to people who built. Now, he didn't go to school. He had his own cocoa farm. He had his own cattle, sheep, chicken. He didn't die broke. Now, in Ghana, we have professors who go on retirement and they virtually have to depend on the national pension scheme. But they went to school.
So the 800 cedis a month, is that what it is?
It's something like that, So this is a person who may have gone to school, Yale, Harvard, Oxford, come back, lecture for years. Then in his retirement, he has to depend on the government.
Okay, now let's stop there for a second, because I don't think they really understand what you just said. Because we're talking to two audiences. We're talking to our folks in Ghana and other parts of Africa, and you're also talking to this Western audience who's dealing with many of the same things you're talking about. So they're listen, because we have professors in America who have multiple degrees, but they're burdened with student debt. They can't even, unless they were intentional about getting themselves outside of their concentration, they're now struggling, trying to pick up positions here, there, trying to make it happen. But what you said was really key, that there are people who went to school in Oxford and Harvard, and they come back to Ghana.
Yes.
And professors, they're highly educated, but at the end of their career, they are forced to rely on the government to take care of themselves. Did I hear that properly?
That's right. And it's because the whole education structure, as we have it, whether you're trained as a chemist or engineer like myself, you will not be taught how to take care of your money. And you will not be taught how to build wealth. And I'm saying that our culture, in terms of Africa, the structures for wealth is still in the culture. It was not destroyed by the colonizers, no. It's still in the cocoa farm. It's still in my grandfather building up something and sell, So that's why when they go to school, until they intentionally study money, it will be very difficult for them to build wealth, because then you have to rely solely on the salary, and that takes a lot of time. And that's why I wrote that book, Streamline How to Teach Yourself Money. Because if your financial knowledge is weak, it will be very difficult for you to run a business. Running business is purely about finance. You're doing mathematics, but it's with money. So who do you employ at what point? Which product which loan do you procure at what point? If that information is wrong, you will meet so many problems in your business. And you run
probably fail if you're not prepared.
That's right. You will fail.
If you're not prepared for the mental aspect of it, because mentally, when you take those losses, or
Mhm.
you're going through your learning curve. I call it experience tuition. When you're going through that phase, if you're not prepared when you take the 200,000 CD,
Mhm.
that's the Ghanaian currency, or the $50,000 USD loss, and then you're like, what happened here? How do we rebuild from this? Because that takes a mentalness too.
That's right.
Because if you're not
That's right.
ready for it,
Mhm.
that could be catastrophic. You
That,
could find
yeah.
yourself saying, I quit. I can't do this.
Mhm. Mhm.
You, the book sounds amazing.
Mm.
Um, I want to encourage you to consider doing a course where people can sign up anywhere in the world, an online
Wow.
course
Okay.
where they can sign up anywhere in the world, because people need what you're talking about. No, in Gabon, in the Gambia, in South Africa, in Burundi, in Mozambique, they need this information in America, the UK, in the Caribbean, in South America, in Australia, in Mexico. People need what you're talking about because it's so important. Like you said, that if you most educational systems are trained to create laborers,
Mm.
people to fill a position. But if you're going to have sustainable wealth over time, then it's going to require you to look at some alternative. And I get hearing your story. That's what you said you did. You did the agricultural engineer, you
Yes.
processing engineer,
Yes.
and then you said, wait a minute, I need to go build these properties for my.
Yes. Exactly. So that's what I did in Stimuli. And I tried to talk about how to recondition the African mind, because, if you go through the streets of Accra, you see a lot of books on finance from a lot of them are American authors. Now, those are good in terms of the principles,
Yes.
but in terms of hitting the ground, the practicalities, the problems that we meet, how we handle them, I think you need the relevant content from the ground. How to understand how things work here. Now, if I'm a Lebanese or Indian or Chinese and I want to develop in Ghana, they come with their money. They procure loan cheaper. They come. Or maybe sometimes they partner with somebody, they come. That's why you can see some buildings. That is it. But if you're like me and you want to build the money here and put into these things, you really need to think as an African. And one of the things that you have to also solve is that you have to be brutally optimistic as an African about yourself and as about the continent. And you have to talk to defend Africa and talk with need or with dignity.
Yes.
Because everything that is being thrown at you is trying to tell you that you are nothing and you don't have anything and you can't do anything. And you hear people saying the government is corrupt, the people are dishonest, all those. You cannot build wealth if you think like that, because creative ideas don't come to the pessimists. Creative ideas come to those who believe it's possible. So even if it's 1% positivity that you have to focus on, because that is what you need. Let the others focus on the 99%. It's okay.
Right. Let them do what they're going to do.
That's right. But if you want to build as an entrepreneur, then you need a lot of optimism, a lot of hope, because everything is telling you it can't work. And at every point in time, you can give up. So you really have to be called like a madman, crazy.
Yeah, and they will crazy. They will. But you know what? But let them call you crazy, because I've discovered the ones that call you crazy, those are the ones that are crazy. So you just know what? You call me crazy, that's all right. Watch my smoke. And
that's right. That's right.
How would you encourage let's say somebody going into high school and they're trying to make some decisions, and they're looking and they're saying, all right, the family pressure, because I recognize in certain countries in Africa, family pressure to be, and this is around the world. This is not Africa. This is India. You name someplace. Family pressure says you're going to be a doctor, you're going to be a lawyer, you're going to be this, and for that person who said themselves, but I want to build wealth. I don't want to go into a bunch of debt in order for this to happen. How do you encourage that person who's dealing with that type of social pressure, family pressure, to go down a particular road? How would you encourage them with principles that you've shared?
Wow. In my third book, Resilience, I talk about how to build courage and strength as an entrepreneur. Family would always want to protect you. You know, my parents actually live in America, and they would not want us to be here in Ghana trying to build something. They would rather have us live somewhere and practice as engineers, you know. But once you have a desire in your heart, that never dies. It never dies. So it's either you listen to that and train and go and work that thing out, or you become sad and follow the family dream. Now, I would say that because the family invested money in you, engage them, show them respect. Even if they want you to take a job, maybe take it. But still, school your mind, school yourself, learn about the business you want to build. Use your time, the free time that you have, to learn about selling, about the industry you want to be in, about wealth, about finance, about how to build structures. At a point when you start, and the thing is, you don't just learn about them, at a point you must start. And you start small. Once you start to see progress, once you start to see things coming, the same family will turn around, you know, to say, now they see you have 100 workers, 200 workers. They see the business. They see you build this. At that point, you know, even if they are not happy with the fact that you didn't become a doctor, at least they can see that you're doing something significant, you know. And most of them, you see, the world, most of us don't know what it takes to build a business because they have talked fear into us that building business is difficult. You know, they have put a lot of statistics there so that we all stay out of it. And then we all just have to stay and say that this is okay. I think that the parents may also be part of the same thinking. But once you start and they see that maybe it's possible, and particularly those of us in Ghana, we have people who have completed school, and maybe you have tried several times. You don't have any, you know, place, any so-called offer. It's better you try something. Maybe at least there's a chance that you can win, you know, than doing nothing at all. And if you try, be proud of it.
Right.
Whatever that you're selling, if it's cocoa, if it's wache that you're selling, be proud of that. You know, because
you said cocoa and what?
Yes, cocoa porridge, the porridge that they sell.
And what? It was something else you said.
Or wache.
Yeah, you said. I thought you said wache. See, I catch these little things you say. I said, wache? It's like my favorite dish coming out of Ghana. So that's why I was like, did he say wache? But like you said, with cocoa or wache, making sure that you do the very best with it.
That's right.
I did say I wanted to come back to something that you said earlier. So you said that the options that a lot of people have when they come out of high school, I guess, or college, they run that down for me again, the options that they have. And I'll tell you when you say what caught my attention.
The church.
You just right over it.
You know, that's an option now.
He skipped everything. They skipped all other ones, he said. A church.
Yes.
So that's a business. That's a business option. Is that correct?
It's a business option. It's a business option. It's a way people are trying to build profile. They will deny it. They will talk against it. They will say that you are attacking them, but that's the reality. You know.
But they do that in America too. I mean, it's similarities. I mean, it's a lot of similarities. I mean, I'm familiar with the church world and understanding.
Yes.
So and I'm not going to go that road today. But when you said it, I was like, oh, they do that there too. Oh, okay, that's how this works out. All right. So they do that because they basically they can't get a job or don't work. See? I saw a billboard in Accra that said every pastor must work, and I looked and I was like, wow. I was like, wow, this is deep, you know. So, but go ahead. You want to say something?
You see that the history of education was more of a theology and You know, the way the Europeans introduced education here was to help us to read the Bible. You know,
Okay.
so the very first people, the so-called school that they brought, because we had our own way of educating our people, you know, and they had their own way of keeping information. And so when they said that they should educate them, they started with the church kind of education. They didn't start with science education, engineering education, mathematics education. No. And education really is when you give the people tools to transform the materials they have into something usable and to solve the problems that they have. Now, that has stayed with us all these years. Okay, so even when you go to school, in the university, the engineering student will probably be playing keyboard in church than go to the lab to come up with a product. You know, so when he comes out of school, industry, he's not trying to come up with a product. I played the keyboard and I was playing it in the choir in the university.
Oh, you play keyboard also? So?
Yes, but
I was playing. Y'all related, so we might be related here. There's similarities going on. Got my situation back. So, you know? so you said that. Okay, hold on, because see, now I didn't know we were about to walk down this road, but it's here. So you said that because Europe created the educational system, the one that we know now, is it right?
Yes.
Okay. And they created this educational system is not to give the tools, but to be able to teach the people to read the Bible. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah. That's it.
So why would they want to teach the people how to read the Bible?
You know,
in your understanding, why would they?
My understanding is that if I teach, the tools. Okay, so if I give you the technology and I give you higher engineering models and theories, how to build a gun, build a ship, you know, build a technology. Yes, if I equip you. Now, don't forget, everybody, the reason, part of the reasons they came to Africa was for the material, the richness of Africa, the gold, the diamond, the cobalt, the aluminum, all those. That's what everybody wants. Now, if Africa were to be equipped to turn their own raw materials, then who would come here? So somebody has to make sure that you are put to sleep, you know, or your attention is diverted to something else, so that the very thing that they need, they keep it. Why should I give you the technology to mine the gold or to drill the oil? So it will take time.
I guess I'm still trying to figure out why would they teach them to go to the Bible then? How would they use that as a way to slow people down?
Because education is really, I don't know the course you did, but then if you do sciences, mathematics, physics, chemistry, that's how you can build industry, isn't it? So I want to stop you from building industries. I don't want you to own.
So how does teaching the Bible do?
No, but I'm telling you, this is the most important thing.
Okay.
The religion is the most important thing. I'm teaching you go to heaven. Don't focus on the material things here. Forget about the gold. Forget about the diamond. It's not important.
Right.
Focus on God.
Rich and enter the kingdom of easy.
That's right. Easier. Emphasize that thing in the heads of the people. So if I'm sending my child to school, I want him to become a theologian, because that's what is available. You know? So technically, that is not an education. So we don't have a lot of, you know, for maybe 150 years ago, where people were sent through education, they were engineers. No.
Okay. 150 years, they weren't being sent to school becoming engineers.
That's right. So they were teachers, they were lawyers, to the best of my knowledge. But the skill set to build the materials and innovate, those were
to produce something, to be a producer.
That's right.
Okay.
They had to manage those. So for music, yes. For sports, yes. For entertainment, yes. But take this, build this plant, build this machine, produce this lathe machine, this drilling machine or drill machine or rig boring machine, build the engine, you know, set this processing plant. Those were carefully controlled. That kind of information.
Okay, but with that though, you would see where in Egypt and other places throughout the continent, where quote unquote lack of better terms, Africans would instruct this. They had these engineering skills. They had this ability to do it. So how did the colonizer come and manipulate this and then turn it? Because really, this everything you're talking about, the lack of knowledge of how to manage resources, the mindset, all of this is a trickle down effect of something that happened along the way that created this system by which we think, because we think a particular way, or by and large, of course, not everyone, but by and large, systemically on a global scale, because what you're saying mirrors happening in many parts of America. Many students come out of college with multiple degrees, ill-equipped to be able to manage resources or start a business, or they have to be intentional and go down a different road, push back against culture and say, I'm going to do this and invest the time into it. So what happened, I guess,
Okay.
from going
Okay.
from the engineers of the pyramids to now this new generation of people who are trying to figure out?
Okay. So see the interjection, the interception, the 500 years from the 14th century, when they came, they were on the coast.
Yes.
Those in the forest were doing their own thing.
Right.
But let's say when they started to divide us, to say this is Ghana, this is Nigeria.
Yes, in 1885, right?
That's right. Now, we accepted their form of living, their form of governance,
their system, right?
Their form of education. Now, if you accept that, even if you knew individually, you could have people who knew that. But structurally, the pattern that we had agreed was to follow theirs.
Right.
That was the pattern. And so now send your child to school. But you sent that child to school, even if he knew how to mind it, by the time that child comes out, just as I give the example that the professor now may forget that he has to create wealth. But my grandfather didn't go to school and he never forgot how to create wealth. So that now a system is created where you may be somebody, but by the time that you are processed, you have melt through that structure, you become another one. But then the content that they have given you will make you not go back and build for your people, for yourself, build industry. Your mind will be shifted from there. And one or two people may pass through that, but as a group, to say that if you have 100 students, maybe 80 would have to do these things because we need to build industries. That's the number. But if I give you 5, just 5, and then 95 are doing all other things, the 5 will not be able to do anything, because then there is no intention to produce these people who can build things to industrialize. So part of what we fight with is the form of training that systematically we've been given in Ghana and everywhere in Africa.
The world lusts after. I'm gonna use some terms too. The world lusts after master's degree, higher degrees. They feel they're educated. They feel as though they've arrived. I mean, when you start breaking this thing down, you talk about distractions. That could even be a potential distraction, because you talked about your grandfather not going to school, but he was not broke. But then I know so many people with multiple degrees that they look great, but they're in their 40s and 50s with $300,000, $80,000, $100,000 of student loan debt, trapped in a particular industry. And really, this industry extracting all of their talent to build itself up while paying them this salary. And even we've been embraced and appreciate. I don't want to say appreciate, because you should appreciate what you're able to get, but embrace and
become comfortable with it.
Become comfortable with this salary, without ever realizing talent that you bring to the table.
That's right.
That's actually building these multi-million, billion-dollar industries. And they said, we'll pay you $100,000 a year. We'll pay you. I'm talking American now,
Yeah.
Or we'll 600,000 CDs a year. And you're like, yes, but you're making them 60 million CDs a year, or millions of dollars, your creativity, your ideas. And so what I think a lot of people are starting to do because of what you're doing, and is they're waking up and they're saying, wait a minute. I'll use this job as my startup cap for my business. But while I'm working this job, I'm going to take my money. I'm going to manage my resources. I'm going to allocate resources properly so I can use that startup capital and get that chain rolling over here. So people are waking up to it. And
see, yes, can you imagine? Let's say they had a lot of thousands of mankind.
Yeah.
You come out of school and they say, you have all this coconut, cashew, gold, diamond. All of you, let's have a structure where you go and try, build some skill set, and then go and start some industry. We will start to stop to say that, oh, maybe some Chinese are trying to build a factory here. Because then you have a lot of us on the ground who believe that we must build our own industries.
Yes.
But if you don't have the required training, the required education, can you build a structured industry? That will be difficult.
No.
That would be difficult. And so all of that, anywhere you see Africans, it's not just on the continent, everywhere. That side, they try to turn it a little so that then we look at the other side, and then we forget here. We forget the innovation, we forget the industry, we forget the wealth building, we forget all those. And then we look just here. And then the people. Now you see that the others are telling you that they have the expertise to mine the gold. And then when they structure the company, the very top 5 is all,
yes.
They, not us.
Yes, I got it.
Because that is something that we have to look at. And so I think that is part of the reason that they intentionally took the higher technical education up. Out of apprenticeship, that's fine. Carpenter, mason, that's okay. But it gets to a level you need a highly technical mind to structure.
Build some of these structures.
That's right. And that side, they said that no. Give them law, give them theology, give them literature, give them English, take the science, take the engineering, take the mathematics out. And that we have to bring.
But now you start to see a strong STEM sector, science, technology, engineering, and math. You're starting to see that, especially in places like Angola, Nigeria, Ghana. You're starting to see this strong presence. And I think because a lot of people are putting back, you are pushing back saying, hey, you know what? Let's get this technology, and let's couple that with entrepreneurship understanding. Let's couple that along with financial literacy. Let's put it all together. And at that point, and when I say we, meaning those of us who are championing these causes, we're now able to compete on a global scale, and that's why they're going so many. I saw a commercial in Dubai with them trying to go to Angola. Because what's happening in Angola and what Angola is doing, how they help Portugal get out of some mess recently, financially, because of what Angola has going on. It's I tell you, we could go on and on and talk about this, and we need to do a part. We need to do a part 2. I want people to find where can they get the book? That's what I want them to know. Where can they find your book?
Yeah, we can also talk about we can also talk about the retail and how we built it as well in the retail shops.
Right. So we could do part 2. So when they find your book, and where can they find more about
Amazon Kindle.
Okay, so get on Kindle.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, cool. So Amazon Kindle, and title of the book again?
Perspective is how to develop the mindset to start and build your own business.
All right.
And Streamline.
Streamline is another one?
Streamline is how to teach yourself money. That's the second one.
How to teach yourself money. So Streamline, how to teach yourself money. Perspective is the other book. So it's 2 books, Streamline and Perspective.
And there's a third one, Resilience, how to build a courage.
Resilience.
Yes, how to build courage.
How to
to build your own business.
And so they would type in Kwabena Obeng Dako, correct?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
That's how we do it. Your name and everything goes up, and all of that is all that stuff is right there where people can and they can go to Kindle. And the reason why I think it's is because Kindle opens you up to the world, and no matter where you are in the world, somebody can read your book. That's what we want people to do. And if you're watching right now, no matter you're watching in the world, we have people watching us everywhere by way of YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, whatever platform we're pushing to. Make sure you go and get this resource for yourself. Shout out to all of our folks in Australia, all of our folks in Congo, South Africa, Tanzania, folks are watching all the Gambia, Guinea. Make sure you get this information because it's all about thinking and changing the minds. And when you begin to do that, and it's cultural because again, each culture is different, but you changing it for yourself, that's where it's going to start. And then that's how the culture going to change. And you get the information, you immerse yourself in these 3 books, and you get knowledge, and you begin to share it with other people. And this is how we tear down the walls of this information that colonization is still peddling throughout this world, all over the world. And it might not be a massive movement right now. But I believe this is a part of a massive movement that's happening. And that's why I wanted to have this conversation today. And I think that it's important. So make sure you go to Amazon and these 3 books, and you can get it on Kindle. And please let Kwame know where you are, and you can type it in the comments below. And this is really to say right now it's something that you can do. You can go to Amazon, Kindle, do it right now, and just type in the comments. I'm doing right now. This is something I need for my grandchild. This is something I need for me. This is something I need for my spouse. This is something I need for the community. This is something I need for people to be able to see. And that's how we bridge the gap. You're having us have a conversation right now. Kwame is in Accra. I'm in DC. Last week we were both in Accra. But having this conversation, seeing the value in this conversation is what we're doing in the African diaspora. And of course, anybody can get the book. So it's not just for one group. Obviously, it's going to be treated a particular way. But this is how we bridge the gap. And the topics are clearly that we're dealing with in America. So all of my American viewers, make sure even if you just doing it to show love, make sure you go get that book on Amazon Kindle, and we'll see how we can continue to get it distributed throughout the world, even hard copy. But right now, it's about getting information out there quickly and getting it out there effectively. That's the deal. So Kwame, listen, again, we got part 2. This part 1. Like I said, I didn't know where we were going this, but hey, we did it. And I already, this is one of the absolute best interviews I've ever done. And wow. I've been doing a whole lot of interviews, and this one of the best interviews I've done.
Thank you.
Because of just we've come out of territory. People asking a lot of questions, So, brother or sister who's about to start that church because they thought that was going to be their job. Now they're going to reconsider it, or they're going to send some messages to you. All right. Well, please tell Marie I said hello. And again, thank you so much. We've been talking to Obeng Darko. And again, if you need to rewind and watch again,